So I think this is a good transition into the COVID vaccine and vaccines in general. But I mean, this is obviously a hot topic right now and a topic of discussion. And I think a lot of people are concerned about this disease, especially because there is so many, unhealthy, metabolically broken people out there, especially in the US. What are your thoughts on this vaccine? Should we get it? Should we not?
Yeah, well, I can tell you what I'm going to do myself. And what I'm going to do myself is based on my lifestyle and what I want to do going forward. So I'm going to explain that. But the first thing I want to do here is really explain to people what's happening. This is an mRNA vaccine or an RNA vaccine. And it's Moderna and Pfizer that are both doing these studies on it, things like that. 80% of people have some pretty gnarly symptoms from it, straight up. It's very COVID-like, very flu-like. So that's worth noting there. And I'm going to explain why that is happening. So the number one problem I have with marketing here is that there are people claiming that the mRNA vaccines or RNA vaccines are safer because you're not being injected with the virus. This is not true. So I'm going to walk you through this. mRNA is messenger RNA. So my main point of study when I first got into all this was genetics, epigenetics, and then I dug into biochemistry a little bit later. So when you learn about genetics and epigenetics, you learn how proteins are made. So all of your cells in your body are made up of proteins and all the tissues are made up of cells. So it's little building blocks, right? So there's DNA. All of your genes are hard-coded with DNA. That DNA is copied through a process called transcription. That becomes mRNA. This is messenger RNA. Literally, it's carrying a message. So in your DNA, there are these 4 letters, A, C, G, and T, right? So if you think about it like a supercomputer, all computers read binary code, 1s and 0s. We have 4 of those. So it's exponentially more complicated than binary code, where we are the ultimate supercomputers. So your body is making a copy of the DNA, that's mRNA. It's taking those letters. So picture I'm trying to think of a good analogy for this. Think of a label maker. Right? So those little old school label makers, it stamps the letter, right? So you take a strip of a bunch of random letters, A, C, G, and T, in different combinations. That message is fed into a ribosome. The ribosome reads those letters, and it's giving it instructions for what protein to create. It is the instruction manual for building proteins. Viruses are proteins. Same way lectins are proteins, all these things, right? Viruses are proteins. So what's happening is they're injecting the specific mRNA into your body. Your cells grab that mRNA, feed it to the ribosomes, and your own body creates the virus. So it's literally giving your cells the instruction manual to create COVID-19 in your body. So your ribosomes create this virus, spit it out into the bloodstream, your body freaks out, says, I don't like that protein, kill it. So that rages an immune response, an immune attack on that protein. They figure out how to kill it, antigens are created, and now you're theoretically immune to COVID-19. That's how this mRNA vaccination is working. Compared to a traditional vaccination, where they're taking the dead, quote unquote, or inactive virus itself, they're taking the protein and injecting the protein directly. So they're skipping the mRNA step. You're getting the protein, the virus injected directly into you. Your immune system freaks out, fuck this virus, and they kill it, and they create antigens, and you're immune, right? But no matter how you slice this, the virus is in your body. And the only way that you build immunity to anything is for your immune system to defeat this thing and remember how it defeated it and put it in the memory bank of your immune system. When X protein comes into our body, Y defense kills it. That's how immunity works. So I just want people to understand how this mRNA vaccine is actually working. So that's just a tiny little masterclass on that. It's very important to understand that. So the problem here is this is going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of people. No matter how we slice it, anytime vaccinations are created or administered, people die. There is some percentage of the population that's going to have massive, catastrophic complications from this vaccination. Here's the really sad part. This vaccination was given emergency status and all these things and rushed to the public to protect the most at risk among us, which are people who are metabolically broken. We know this. Low vitamin D levels, insulin resistance, high blood glucose levels, all these things put you at a higher risk. Type 2 diabetes, much higher risk of complications from COVID. So we come out with the vaccine to protect those people. Those people are also at the highest risk of complications from this vaccination. And we have this weird thing that they're doing now where it requires 2 vaccinations. So they give you a vaccination, and then I believe you get put on quarantine, and then 14 days later, I believe, I could be wrong about that, somebody can fact check me, you get another vaccination. Now, what's happened in a lot of these studies is so many people get such unpleasant experiences with the first vaccination, they don't want to get the second one. So we have this weird situation on our hands. It's going to be a logistical shit show to get the vaccination done. Now, all that said, would I get the vaccine? I love international travel. I have friends all over the world, and I love to visit those friends. In 2019, the year before COVID, I visited 8 different countries. Now, unfortunately, call me privileged, whatever you want to do, I am probably not going to be negatively affected by this vaccine. I am very metabolically healthy, and I'm young. So if they say, like, there are airlines right now saying you can't travel without the vaccination. One thing I want to touch on real quick, if you think for a second that the government can mandate this vaccination, it's not going to happen. But the private market will. And here's where we're fucked. I mean, people really don't understand this. It is within an employer's rights to say you can't work here, you can't come to the office place if you don't have a vaccination. Private schools especially, your kid can't come here if your kid's not vaccinated. You can't travel on this airline if you're not vaccinated. And you can say, well, fuck you, I'm not giving you my business. And they can go, that's cool. Millions of other people got the vaccine. We don't need your business. So it's really the free market that's going to cause this problem, in my opinion. But all that said, I weigh risk versus reward. I love international travel. If they tell me you can't, if I can travel the globe freely by getting, even though I've already had COVID and recovered from it, if I can travel the globe freely by getting this vaccination, I will 100% do it if it's my only option. Either that or I'll find a badass doctor and I will bribe the fuck out of them and I will get vaccination paperwork. I haven't decided which one I'm going to do yet, but
that's smart. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it comes down to everyone has to make the best decision that they can based on the research they've done and based on their own health. And it is crazy to think that our freedom in a way can be taken away by not injecting this virus into our bodies. Because yeah, if you're not able to travel and you're not able to put your kid in private school and things like that, that's taking away your freedom of choice to do things the way you want to do them because you don't have the vaccine. And so that's where it gets kind of scary. But at the end of the day, it really just comes back to your health, and you won't have negative effects for the most part if you are a metabolically healthy person. And so it always just comes back to that.